Thank you for joining us. My name is Katie Doherty. I'm the president and CEO of the Kennebec Valley Chamber, and I'd like to welcome you to this month's Women's Luncheon. Before I introduce the speaker, the Chamber has some upcoming events I'd like to share. The next Chamber Connections will be on November 18th at 10 a.m. with Hannah Pingree addressing Maine's long-term challenges amid COVID-19. Our next Women's Luncheon will be with Michelle Pelletier from Performance Food Service North Center, speaking on how to elevate your voice, presence, and career to the next level. That will be on December 9th at 12 p.m. Today's speaker is Candace Sanborn from Radiant Image, speaking on best glasses, hairstyles, and necklines for your face shape. Prior to starting Radiant Image in 2019, Candace worked for 25 plus years in branding and marketing, creating strategies and tools to help organizations and individuals achieve their sales and development goals. Her mission is to help people, particularly women, embrace their unique features and attributes so they can lead happier, more satisfying lives. Radiant Image is a professional image consulting firm that teaches people appearance and communication techniques so they look good, connect well with others, and feel more self-confident. Services include showing people how to choose clothing and makeup colors that harmonize with their skin, hair, and eye coloring, and how to select clothing styles, glasses, and hairstyles that flatter their body type and face shape. So please join me in welcoming Candace.
Hey, thank you, Katie. Appreciate that.
Yes.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining today. With so many people and only 45 minutes, this is gonna be like a speedy version, but hopefully you will glean some helpful tips. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see. Hopefully all of you can see that. Yep. Okay. And I'm going to leave it, I was telling Katie, I'm going to leave it in this way rather than put it in that little presentation one where it takes up the whole screen, because I'm going to be moving some items and it won't let me do that unless I keep it this way. So since Katie did such a great introduction, I'm just going to move right into it. This is going to be interactive on your part. This whole thing hinges upon your properly identifying your face shape. And so we're going to start with this slide here. So you'll notice that there are two rows of face shapes. The top is angled and the lower is called contoured or softer. They're paired up because they're very similar. The diamond and the oval, the V triangle and the heart, etc. The difference between the top row and the bottom row is the angles of the face. So I'm going to walk through these pretty quickly, and then I want you to jot down what you think you are based on the descriptions that I give you and the pictures that you're looking at, because from here on out we're going to then go quickly through the different hairstyles, glasses, and necklines by face shape. So the first thing to do when thinking about your face shape is the angles of your face. I don't know if any of you have a mirror around you, but if you do, it's handy. Is determine whether you are angled or contoured. So again, you can see how the the chin and the jaw line up here have more definitive lines and angles than the group below it, which is softer and rounder. And so I'm going to use myself as a quick example so that you can kind of do the same thing for you. So when I turn to the side, I do not have any sharp angles here. My face is fairly soft. And when you look at me this way, I do not have a very distinct chin. It's just kind of soft. So that means I would eliminate the whole top row and focus on figuring out what I am in the bottom row. Obviously could be opposite for you. So that's the first thing to do. The second thing to do is to determine where are you the widest in your face. So again, using my face, and I'm going to pull my hair back a little bit and hopefully you can see. I'm going to start with a V triangle in the heart for me because I'm contoured, it's the heart. heart-shaped, just like a V triangle, has a very wide forehead and then angling, just as you see there, to a narrow point. I do not have a wide forehead, so therefore I would not be a heart. The pear has the widest area in its jawline, as does the A triangle. Again, the difference being the angles. So my face contours more in, therefore I am not a pear. Oblong, just like the rectangle, is a longer face. They are longer than they are wide, and usually it's relatively obvious when someone has a thinner, longer face, which I do not have. Fine. And then on the end, we have the shorter face shapes. The square and the round are both pretty much equally long as they are wide. And they're just tend to be visually shorter in the same way that the rectangle and the oblong are visibly longer. I am not a round shape because you can see from looking at my face that I am longer than I appear longer than I am wide. Therefore, the only available option left is the oval, which is what I am. So, which is like an inverted egg, a little bit wider up top and a little thinner here. A diamond has a similar thing, but they tend to have more distinctive cheekbones and be a little bit wider in the cheekbone area, so that it's just a little more defined with a more pointed or angular chin. So I hope, so just take a quick second and think about that. Jot that down, because now we're going to be moving through these face shapes quickly, starting with the angled shapes. Hopefully everybody's got that. We're going to start with necklines. These are the 7 most common necklines that are out there. And when we look at necklines for our face shape, we're looking at the shape of your jaw. Is it angled or is it contoured? The width of your face. Where are you wide? Are you wide down here or wide up here or wider up top? And also the depth of the neckline relates to the length of your face. So if you have a long face or a short face, or so the rectangle, the oblong, the square, and the round are the long and short faces. Everybody else is pretty proportionate in terms of length to width, meaning the length is, I should say, the width is 2/3 of the length. So just a quick flip back here. So these 4 are the only ones that are kind of longer or shorter. The rest of these have that proportion that I was just talking about. So our necklines, we take into all 3 things when we think about what necklines work best for our face shape. The first one we're going to go through is the diamond. Here's an example of a woman who's a diamond. And the why, I'm not going to pull all these over because we don't have time for that, but I want to show you this diamond V-neck. You can see how well this looks on her. It mirrors the line of her face, and because she's wider in here, it brings her face in a very complimentary kind of way. Compare that to not so good. Here, can you see how this seems out of sync with her face? It just doesn't flow. There's no harmony happening with this square face, square neckline rather, and her face. It just looks off. So the name of the game with somebody who has a diamond face, if this is you, is that you want to maintain the proportion of your face. You don't want to make it any longer. So even though V-necks are very good, you would not want a very long V-neck, because all these things come in different shapes. You want a shorter, wider V-neck, just like a shorter, wider scoop. Here's another example. Versus anything really long, because then you're going to make your face look out of proportion. So these are the necklines: the V, a wide and a shorter V, a wide, shorter scoop. The sweetheart looks very nice. The crew, because she has proportioned face. This is a short neckline. If you have a short face, this is not going to work for you, but it works here because she's not short. And this is a boat neck. also a short neckline, but works very well for someone with a diamond shape. If you have, so we're going to move on to hairstyles and glasses. So if you have a diamond shape like J-Lo, then you're looking for something. I'm going to move you guys further. You're looking for something that adds some softness to your face, but is no longer or wider than your cheekbones. So the aviator, the sport, the oval, which is kind of an angular oval, not just really a round, and a wayfarer type are very good glasses for somebody who has a diamond shape. One thing I want to point out real quick, this will be true for everybody, and since we're on the first one, I want to demonstrate this. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second, and I want to show you this. So color matters. We're not talking about color today, but I want to bring this to your attention. If you tend to be a little bit, if you have dark hair, silver hair, you want glasses that are cooler. If you have like a honey blonde color, which is my hair color, or red or brown, you're probably going to go with warmer shades. I want to show you the difference. So these are aviators, and these are gold rimmed with sort of brownish tint. This is very good glasses for my face shape. It's actually a good glass for just about any face shape. You take this same shape and you change it to a silver and a black, and look what happens. All of a sudden, the attention is more on the glasses than on me, because these are far too dominant in color, and that's all you see compared to something like this, right? Same is true if you wear glasses to read. This one is, these are black, very angular, they're sort of rectangular glasses. They, look how this looks compared to something with a brown and thinner lens and a half rim. So now you see a lot, you see me versus the glasses dominating me. And glasses is a personal choice. You know, you do whatever you want, but I'm just teaching you about harmony, and particularly in this day and time when we're living in this box as we are, you know, and our faces are right up there and that's all everybody sees. You really want something that people can see your face. So unless you have, for lenses, prescription lenses, if you wear glasses all day, unless you have a really thick lens where a half rim is not possible, then go with a half rim, or sometimes a rimless, because again, you can see more of your face when you do that. So that's just kind of a side tip that's true for everybody. So we're going to go back to the presentation, right? So again, here are the glass styles that work very well for a diamond. Now we'll go to hairstyles. As everyone can see, hopefully, you know, here we have Scarlett Johansson. She's a beautiful woman, obviously, but look what happens when she wears her hair way up and short. She makes her face look even longer, and it's not nearly as flattering as when she has it kind of down, either longer or shorter, but soft. So the name of the game with someone with a diamond hair face is to avoid any height or middle parts, because you're going to make the face look too long. A side part with a side bang is nice. Not a full bang. Very few face shapes can do full bangs. Something with waves. If you have wavy hair, that's great. It kind of softens the angles of your face. You want to avoid anything that's very like sharp and blunt cut, because it'll just overemphasize the angles, and it will make you look pretty edgy. So you want to add fullness to the forehead and the chin area sort of for balance. So, and I could go on longer, but as I said, we're pressed for time. So I'm gonna, if anybody wants a slide, just, I don't know, let Katie know or something. I'm happy to send one that might pertain to you if you wanna, if you would like to have that for your reference. Moving on to the V triangle. This shape has, again, the wider forehead with an angular chin. We see Reese Witherspoon here. And some face shapes, as you're going to see, have more options for necklines than others in terms of what's flattering. So in this case, it's the V-neck. Looks very nice on Reese, as does the Sweetheart, as does the Crew, because again, she has a pretty balanced face with her width 2/3 of her length. This scoop just doesn't look, when you compare that to this, see how this mirrors her face a little bit better. It's just, these are all little tweaks that add up, among many other things that I teach, sort of that together look, things that just look flattering, and people say to you, man, you look great, you know. So we don't want people to say, I love your blouse, I love your shoes, although those are nice. You want people to say, boy, you look great, because it's all about seeing you. And these things that I'm showing today are part of that. So again, the neckline goal here for a V triangle is to slenderize that forehead. And that can be done also, jump here, with hair. So with hair, you know, something sweeping to the side is usually best. You can see here with Reese, she's got a blunt cut here and straight hair. It's just not nearly as flattering as when she wears it softer, either longer or shorter, and sort of swept to the side. It looks too edgy here. So with hair, in order to balance the forehead, you know, avoiding those thick bangs, don't go anything with too straight. You want to really have a cut that brings in your forehead and widens the jawline so that your face looks more in balance. But those are the two hairstyle things to avoid so that that's not happening. Let's jump back to the glasses for a V triangle. Here's another one, picture. You want to minimize, again, the widest part of the face with your glasses, so you don't want super wide glasses here. And an aviator shape will work, similar rectangular, an aviator square, which is a little bit modified. It's not quite so round. And a teardrop, which kind of has a little bit different shape to it. So there's many different glasses out there, but these are the four best glasses really for this face shape. I know I'm moving fast, but I'm going to have to keep going. So here's the A triangle. Now in this face, as we said, the widest part of the face is the jawline. And here we have Minnie Driver. She's the typical A triangle look. So she's got very angular features going from her jaw to her chin. So in this case, V-necks look very good on her. It slenderizes that jaw line. Looks very, very harmonious with her face. A deeper scoop versus a thinner scoop, just because, again, of her jawline. This is mirroring that. And a lot of what we learned is about mirroring. The Crew is also nice because she has balance to her face, length to width. But what is not good is the square. Can you see how this makes her jaw even more squared? It overemphasizes that, and so it's not as flattering. So if you're an A triangle, you want to stick to the V, the deeper scoop, and the Crew. And also, I'm sure you've seen on the slides, there's also the cowl necks and the turtlenecks. I don't have pictures of those per se, but some of the face shapes look better with cowls versus the high turtle, and in this case it's the cowl. So again, the goal here is to slenderize this jawline so it's not quite so boxy, which these shapes, these three top shapes do: the V-neck, the deep scoop, and the Crew. For glasses, here's another example of someone with that face shape. We don't want to add any, we want to add width to the forehead, that sort of by angling outward. So here we have the Sport, the Aviator again. It's really the only one that really seems to work with everybody I've ever worked with. And oversized glasses is okay because that will balance your forehead with your jawline. And the cat eye is a fun one. It kind of comes up and gives this face some lift, and it also balances out the jaw. For hairstyles, here's Mini Driver again. Our goal here is to minimize the jawline and adding width up here again for balance. So you can see with her, this is a nice style on her, but it adds a little fullness, especially if this were a little bit shorter, which I couldn't find exactly one that does this, because if it lands right there in the jaw, it'll just overemphasize. That's where your eye will go. Whereas when her hair is a little shorter, because she has very wavy curly hair, or she wears it longer and off her face, that's just more slenderizing for that face shape. So you want to avoid the center parts, too much volume on the top, and any full styles right here. Short of that, you can, do it. Any other style will look pretty flattering. But off to the side as a part will look very nice on this face shape. So next we have the rectangle face. That's the longer face, but unlike the oblong, it's a little more angled here at the jaw to the chin. So we have the necklines here, and the goal here is to shorten and soften the face because the face is visibly long. And this is a picture of, I forget her name, the actress, but she's not really doing herself any favors in this picture by wearing her hair the way it is, because you can really see how it overemphasizes how long her face is. So with a long face, you want to shorten it, as I mentioned, and a crew neck will do that, because it's a short neckline, as will a boat neck. Looks very good. This is one of the few faces that can wear the square. Very rare. It's not a very popular neckline, but to find. But you can, if you're a rectangle face, you can wear that nicely. A wide scoop as opposed to a narrow long scoop, because that would add length, which is the opposite of what you want to do. So the wide scoop tends to keep it more balanced. And the V-neck, but not a long V-neck, a shorter V-neck that goes up high, or a wider one. If you have a rectangle face, again, you don't want to add length. So you don't want a deep one that kind of comes down too low, just above the cleavage line. You want to keep it pretty high up or pretty wide. So again, the goal here and everything that we're about to talk about for this shape is to shorten and soften the face. So we do that also with glasses. Oversized glasses are pretty great for this face shape. Anything that makes the width appear a little bit bigger, and also adds a little softness to the angular aspects of the face. So here we have the ever favorite Aviator, and we have a rectangular sort of, it's a round one, but it's octagonal basically. So it's straight lines but in a circle. The wrap, which is kind of like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type, glass, and then the drop wayfarers, which is a little bit lower. So this face shape can wear glasses that extend beyond the jawbone, or excuse me, not the jawbone, the cheekbone. Most of us want it between the eyebrow and the top of the cheekbone, but this, because they have length, if you're a rectangle, you can have a little bit longer glasses. Let's see. Hairstyles for this face shape. Here we have Hilary Swank again, and the photo you just saw a moment ago, and you can see how much more flattering she looks in hairstyles that use bangs, so that her forehead is not quite as visible and long. So the side bang works good. Even thicker bangs, but not anything that's just blunt, right? So we don't want straight across and straight down because that'll just make her look even longer and more angular than this photo here on the right does. So you don't want to add any volume you to the top, but you do want to add it to the sides because as a narrower face, having some volume on the side is nice. So, and you want to soften the lines of your face and your jawline. So if you have wavy hair, that works really well to kind of let it flow over here, kind of going down. If you have straight hair, just have it be sort of like a layered cut is nice, the way this one is. And this is kind of sweeping out, and it just softens that angular area of her jaw. It looks very nice. So again, soften, make it short. The goal here for all things is to make the face a little bit shorter and a little bit softer. Alrighty, so moving on to the last angular face shape, we are looking at the square. This is Demi Moore. She's wearing her hair, very short hair, and I chose this for a reason, as you'll see in a minute when we look at her in different hairstyles. She looks really square with this hairstyle, and it overemphasizes the squareness of her face. A V-neck is by far the best neckline for someone with a square face. The goal with someone with square face is to do the opposite of what we just talked about with a rectangle, which is to give it length now. So we want length, so a deep V-neck would be a great, any V-neck, but especially a deeper one will give you some length and make your face look a little bit longer. And it will narrow, narrow you through the jawline. A narrow, deep scoop. So something that, again, is a little bit deeper, not high, but deep, will also give it that length. But the V is better. As you can see, this, it's good, but the V is better because it's more in harmony with the angular nature of her face. Then we have the Sweetheart, which is also good. It's a very good neckline on a lot of people. It combines both the angular and the contoured in the shape. But would not be good is any neckline such as this boat neck, because it's a short neckline and her face is already short. So if you have a shorter face, this is just going to shorten it even more. So a crew neck or a boat neck or a turtleneck would not be a recommended neckline for you, because it'll just make you look like you have no neck. It'll make your face look even shorter. Here are some glasses options for people with square faces. Again, we kind of want to soften the sharpness of the face, but we have to keep the size of the face in balance. So oversized glasses are not recommended for someone with a shorter face like the square. You definitely want to keep it no higher than the brow and no lower than the cheekbone, because again, you don't have as much face, so you don't want a glass taking all of it up. So the aviator, but a shorter aviator, a rectangle, a cat is outstanding actually for a square. Sort of that a real oval glasses, and then the butterfly, which is not a very common glass to find out there, but works very well on somebody with a square face. So all of these are lifting and also and giving a little length, while also softening because of the shape of the glasses. Then we have the hairstyle. Now here's Demi Moore again, that we saw earlier, and she looks so much better with her full face showing, because if you have a square face, you want as much of your face to show as possible, meaning your forehead. And you want to add that length. So height, anything with some teased lengths, or teased layers up high, or also wearing it down, it could be on either side, but down along the side will give you length. But nothing, you want to avoid anything straight and blunt, shortcut, like you see here with Demi in that first picture, with no height whatsoever. And you definitely want to avoid anything at the landing here at the jawline, because it'll just overemphasize that even more so than the other angular shapes. face shapes. So nothing that lands right here, and definitely nothing that is blunt. So we're going, how are we doing on time? Doing okay. So we're going to do the contoured face shapes now. So the first among those is the oval. It is the most, one of the most common face shapes. It is also the most balanced of the face shapes because it's not, it's 2/3 the width to the length, which is proportion, and it's not overly wide or overly narrow in any particular area, and there are no angular lines that one needs to try to counterbalance a little bit. So the oval face shape has a few more options than some of the others because of what I just said. So all scoops work for an oval. If you're an oval face, you can do regular ones, you can do deep ones. There are other aspects to necklines as it has to do with how broad you are in the shoulders or how busty you are, but that's a whole other subject. You can also wear a crew because you have the length, neck length is also a factor. If you're short-necked, you also wouldn't want to wear anything, regardless of your face shape, that is too short. But if you just have an average neck height and you have an oval face, then all of these that I'm showing you will work. The boat works very nice. Boat is particularly good in terms of body shape for anybody who has who's a pear shaped body. Anybody who has wider hips and narrower shoulders or bust line. If you wear a boat neck, either by creating it through a scarf or by an actual shaped top that has that, it will widen your shoulders and it will visibly balance your shoulders and your hips. The Sweetheart also looks very good, as does the V. It's not as good as a scoop because a scoop is a little more, in harmony again with the contouredness of the face, but you can wear it if you're an oval. The one to avoid is the square. It's just too boxy for this face shape. So that's really the one to avoid. Other than that, the rest really achieve the goal, which is to maintain the balance that the oval face shape already has. So then we'll go to glasses. We have Beyonce. She's an oval. So the goal here is to, again, keep the balance. Don't distort anything. So you don't want anything too big or too wide because you already have a balanced face. So you just want something that works within your face shape that doesn't distort it. And I'm an oval, as I mentioned, and the aviators work particularly well for ovals. The cat, the Wayfarer, and sort of an octagonal oval, not a round, but sort of an octagonal oval. But I actually think these bottom three are the best. With hair, if you are an oval, here's Anne Hathaway again. She looks lovely in all these hairstyles, but here she is in one that's too harsh. So she, by wearing the heavy straight bangs across her forehead, she's taking the balance and shortening her face because they're so heavy and blunt. So her face shortens, and because this is super straight, it is not complementary for her face, as opposed to having her whole face show or having side swept bangs and having a little softer look. In this case, we've got curls, and this is a short sort of pixie, looks great, or something a little bit, just has a bit of layers to it and sort of softly lays to the side. So with hair for an oval, we don't want to add any height. We don't want to add a lot of width. And we definitely don't want to shorten the face by adding harsh bangs. Again, wispy bangs are fine, or side bangs, like I have side bangs, but nothing too blunt like we see here with Anne Hathaway. Alrighty, moving right along, we have the heart shape, which, like its counterpart, the V triangle, this is also wide, but she's just softer through here. and so just not quite as angular as the other one. So this is also good in a V. Send this back, okay. So a V is very harmonious with this face shape. It looks in proportion with her face, and where it's wide, it sort of balances that higher forehead, although she's got swept bangs, so it's not as easy to see. A crew works very nice, again, because she's got 2/3 width to the length, so it's a proportioned face. The Sweetheart, which isn't a common neckline, I might add. Usually we see this neckline during the holidays or with very fancy dresses for like young girls' proms or, you know, wedding dresses, things like that. What would not be an attractive neckline is the square. You can just see how it just looks out of balance with her face compared to, so you see that, and then see this, and that just looks more harmonious. So all of these go toward, these three are along with a turtleneck. A turtleneck can be worn by someone with a heart shape because they have, usually they have the neck to support that, and they have their face shape supports that taller neckline that a turtleneck is versus a cowl, let's say. So our goal here is just to slenderize this upper portion, which these do. We also have glasses. So here we have another actress. I forget her name off the top of my head. But one of the telltale signs of somebody who has a heart-shaped face is this little widow's peak. It's not always the case, but often. So she certainly has one there, and you can almost draw the heart right on her. So here again, minimizing the forehead. So we want to shift the attention away from that and down to here, so that the cat are very good. Again, everybody's favorite, the aviator, the rectangular, sort of octagonal, I should say. I should change that label. Round, one of the few face shapes that can wear just round sunglasses. And then the rounded aviator. You can see how it's a little bit shorter and rounder than the typical shape. So these are all very flattering styles for the heart. Here we have her again. There's her name, Allison. And Allison, you know, she looks stunning in all of these photos. And our goal here is to, again, minimize the wide forehead. So what you don't want to do is what's going on over here. This is just very angled, very blunt, and all it does is make her look more severe. And so we want to soften the angles a bit by having, you know, just a little more layered, not quite so blunt. Definitely don't want those straight bangs because, again, only a few shapes like the rectangle can really afford to do that, because otherwise the rest of us just shorten our face too much. So wispy bangs, side bangs, or no bangs would work, and just nothing overly straight and blunt. So I mean, something with a little layers here, like this sort of almost Farrah Fawcett back in the day look. And this is very nice as well. A lot of layers going on, all of which narrow that forehead. Okay. Then we have the Pear. Now the Pear is similar to that A triangle where the width is at the jaw, but she's just a little softer through the jaw than her counterpart. So this face shape has a few more limitations than some other face shapes. So a deep scoop tends to be the best, because we need to really soften that lower part of her face and also give it length. So the scoop, because she's contoured, is by far the best neckline. V, though, is a close second. Very, very nice also, brings in the jawline. So even though she's contoured, because of the nature of the width and where it falls, the V-neck works very well, as would a cowl. A turtleneck would not be flattering on a pear shape. It would just draw the emphasis right here because of where it stops. So a cowl neck in the main, of course, I always tell anybody we're in the main winter, so when it gets below 0, I mean, who the heck cares what you wear to stay warm? We're talking when we want to look nice. So these two necklines are the best, and avoid the square. You can see, hopefully you can see how this overemphasizes that jawline area, which is what she wants to avoid. So if you're a pear, you're trying to slenderize this area here. And some people get confused if, am I an oval or am I a pear? Because sometimes as we mature in life, or maybe we gain some weight, you know, things start to get a little fuller here. But as you could see from this and the one, the A triangle, it's a very distinctive look when you're a pear. It's quite full through here, as opposed to getting a little bit more under the chin, which is common as we age and or possibly gain weight. Sometimes that happens, but you would likely still be an oval. As again, it's really back here that the fullness exists, as opposed to here. So if any of you had questions about that, as I've had in the past, that's hopefully answering that. Then we have glasses. So as a pear, here's, I think her last name is Tyson, I forget. So we want to create balance and add width to the forehead to do that, again, just to balance that wide jaw. So, and adding some upward direction is also very complimentary in glasses for this face shape. So the sport, the aviator again, the oversized, and the cat I find is actually particularly good on the pear, because it's going this way and taking attention away from the lower part of the face. Hairstyles. Here we have Kelly Osbourne in a variety of hair, and what a difference it makes over here, far right. So she, by wearing her hair, giving more volume here, spiky, she is overemphasizing the fullness of her face here in a way that is not flattering for her. Better is to, again, we need to minimize the jawline, so when she has a nice side part, but showing her face and some layers and just sort of coming down, actually angling toward her face, that's a very soft look. Makes her, it really minimizes that jaw and is very flattering on her. As is this one over here with a little curl, a little fancier, you know, looks like she's probably at some event, but that's a very soft, nice look. And then she can get away with this as well. A little bang, again, parting to the side, a little more casual. And she has this open neckline that we were talking about. And both of those things are working for her, but not severe and blunt. So no center parts, because that'll overemphasize that jawline, no volume, and anything with, especially blunt, but anything with any fullness that lands right here at your jaw, you would want to avoid if you have a pear-shaped face. Next up is we have 2 more face shapes to go, and then we're done. Doing okay, a little slow, but we'll make it. We have the oblong face. This is, forget her name. I have her coming up later. Tyler is her last name. Liz Tyler, I think. And she clearly has an oblong face. And it's made more clear because she's wearing a center part, which she shouldn't do, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So like the rectangle, it's a long face. The goal here is to widen and shorten the face to create more balance. So a short neckline like a crew works very well to do that, as does the boat. Both of these are contoured in shape and also short. These are particularly good ones for an oblong. She can even wear the square. It's not as good as the other two, but it works from a shortening perspective and also a balancing perspective. But I find it to be, I mean, it has to be a little softer square than, say, what I'm showing here. The wide scoop does good also, not a narrow scoop, very different. because a narrow scoop that, you know, is shorter, thinner, and deeper will just make our face look longer. But the wide scoop that's a little bit higher adds width and is a flattering look. And absolutely never for an oblong wear a V, particularly a deep V, because you're just stretching your face out, and it's too angular for this face shape. So better to go with these shorter styles. And again, you can achieve especially a boat neck with scarves going sort of laterally across the shoulders. That works very nicely to create that, even if you don't have it in an actual collar. So then we go here to glasses. We have the other actress. She's clearly an oblong as well. So we want to add some width here and create balance. And this is one of the face shapes that, like the rectangle, oversized glasses are good because we want to give some width, so a little bigger than the temple. So all the rectangular, the Wayfair, a square looks particularly good on an oblong because it gives it a little more harmony. The aviator, but not a real long aviator because they do come in different lengths. So I wouldn't want to see that like dropping down halfway to the cheek. Just kind of maybe just below the cheekbone. And then the shield. It's one of the few face shapes that can wear the shield kind of look. You see a lot of those skiing. But, you know, there are regular glasses that are shield shapes. Hairstyle. So again, the goal here is to shorten the face and make it a little bit broader. So here we have Liv Tyler again, and the photo I showed you initially, and you can see how much longer she looks because of the center part and the long hair than she does when she's side sweeping the bangs, having shorter hair with fullness that ends at her jaw, because she can do that, and you can do that if you have this face shape, and or kind of a shorter bob cut with layers that also looks very good. It's cutting the forehead, so it's shortening the face by doing that and adding some width by having these layers. So things to avoid are those narrow, you know, those center parts, adding any volume here or here without the right part, and having hair that is bluntly cut with no sort of volume. You know, this has volume here, as does this. So you want to have a little of that to soften your face. All right, and you probably don't want extremely short hair that's really cropped because you're gonna just look like all face. So this bob cut is a very nice one here, the mid-length. It's one of the few face shapes that can have it ending right here at the jawline. Finally, we have the round face. So the round face, like the square, is a short face shape. It's roughly the same width as it is high. And the goal here with a neckline, as with everything, is to lengthen and slenderize the face. So deeper scoops are very good. So, and I know I'm using the same one sometimes when I say regular scoop or deep scoop, so I pull it down so that you can hopefully see the difference. And just longer, giving that length. A deep wide scoop will also work, but a little bit, like I said, deeper, not short and wide, but longer and wide. And really, those are the best necklines because you want to avoid, if you're a round face, you want to avoid any short necklines like this crew. And I know when you're around your house and you run around in a t-shirt and all that, that's fine. We're talking about when you really want to make a statement or you're dressing for an event or whatever, your best necklines are going to be these ones that give you length and not the crew. It's just the face is too short for a crew and it makes you look like you have an even shorter face. V is just a little too severe for a round. It's too angular for the particular roundness of this face shape. So that is also one to avoid. So really the deeper, narrower scoops, any scoop will work best, but the deeper the better. Then we have the glasses. The goal here is to minimize the roundness of the face. So we're looking to add a little angular aspects to it by with our glasses that we choose, and we don't want to over go too wide here because we're already wide at the temples being round. So shields, this is another face shape that wears shields. Cat eye works really well on a round. That's sort of semi-square. The sport wrap, which is also kind of like the Arnold glasses I was talking about, but maybe not quite as tight. And then this is kind of a new one we haven't seen called the Club Master. So it's, you know, a little thicker up here, has a little bit kind of a point, and then is rounded here. So that's called the Club Master. And then finally we have the hair for the round. This is Jennifer Goodwin. She has classic round face. And you can see how attractive she looks in a short haircut that has height versus one that does not. So this one is really tight to her face, and it just overemphasizes the roundness as opposed to giving it height through adding these layers and teasing it up. She also looks nice adding length through longer hair. And she can have a middle part. Round faces do very well with the middle part because it lengthens the face, which she wants, or you might want. And or side swept bangs with softness if you have wavy hair, again, going here. You don't want to have overly curly hair. You're going to look a little bit like Shirley Temple if you've got too wavy, and especially landing here at the jawline. Again, not too short on the top as this one shows, or any straight bang. You really, for a round face in particular, you really want to show as much of your forehead as possible because, again, you have a shorter face. So you really want to keep it off. A real tight cut like she's got up here. I mean, you could kind of see some wispies coming down, but they're really not bangs to speak of. So, and or a middle part if your hair likes to do that. I know we don't always have the choice. Mine wouldn't go in the middle if I tried. So in a nutshell, that is all the 10 face shapes and what you can do to counterbalance some things that are going on with your face and to make it look more balanced, whether it's with your neckline, your glasses, or your hairstyle. So these are overviews. Everyone is a little bit different. When I do analysis, you know, it's specific to a person, but these are good guidelines for, you know, for the face shapes that are out there. So it's 5 of, not too bad. I'll stop sharing my screen. I feel like I'm talking to myself because, you know, this has been a one-way road. Are there any questions, or I don't know, Katie, if you want how you want to go?
Yeah, so I'll let people unmute themselves and ask questions if you guys would like. I'm just thinking about everything I've been doing wrong. I think every face shape you said don't add volume, and I'm like, oh no, I add volume every day because I feel like I look bald in my notes. So But if anybody has questions, feel free to send them in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask away.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Rachel.
I wanted to confirm what mine was. I would say I was guessing either oblong or the rectangle, but I have a very big forehead and a long face. So I'm trying to look.
You're in a small box, so it's hard for me to see. Here's a little tip for everybody. So take your index, your pointer finger, and your thumb. Put your pointer finger at your hairline, and then take your thumb and put it in the middle of that bridge of your nose. Now you have to be careful because you can't move them now. And then what we do is we jump, not moving your fingers, from there to here. And then we go again to there. And if you land right where I landed, then your face is not long or short. I mean, it's a quick down and dirty. We have to kind of measure to be accurate, but it's a quick one. So if you're landing here, then your face is short, right? If you're landing here, then your face is long. So
I guess I don't know.
But you have to be real careful because it's easy to move the thumb or the finger. So you just kind of Another thing you could do is take a tape measure or have someone else do it, and then do it from the hairline to the bridge, from the bridge to the lip, and from the lip here. And it should be equal distance. So you can even do it from the temple right here, the same fingers, to the bridge of your nose, and then jump over, and that same thing goes here, here, and here. So that's why I say a proportioned face is two. This is two, right? 1, 2, 2/3 of the length. Okay. And I have an oval face, so mine is proportioned that way. Heart-shaped face, all the ones except for oblong, rectangle, round, and square will do what we just did and land right here. So if that helps you, Rachel.
Yeah, I still don't know. I've always felt like this is too big to not have.
Turn your face to the side. Actually, your thing is there. You actually seem like you have a defined jawline from what little I can see, and chin. So, because you seem like you have a more defined jaw to your chin. So you might be in the angular.
Yeah,
one.
I know. I couldn't decide if it was.
Do this again with your hair. Yeah, you could be a diamond.
Oh, that wasn't on your list, was it?
It looks like your cheeks, because you're not wide here. You're coming down here and you're narrowing in, and because you have some angle. Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to see with you in the tiny, tiny box, but but I think you're one of the two, depending on how angular you are. You don't look overly long.
Okay, I've always felt like I had a long face.
Yeah, but you don't look overly long from here.
Anybody else? Any other questions? I would say it sounds like there's interest in this too. So everybody who completes the survey today will be put in a drawing to win 2 hours with Candace to help individualize your face shape and makeup lesson and kind of like everything that's best for you. So make sure you fill out the survey because you could win 2 hours with Candace. And
we'll also, as part of that 2 hours, go over, I do full color analysis individually with people and give them, analyzing their skin, hair, and eyes. And then you get if you do that, you get a color palette that you shop with. However, in this free 2-hour session, what I will do is I'll look at your coloring and determine whether you're on the warmer or the cooler side. And that'll at least give you some guidance in terms of color selection for your clothing, along with the face shape analysis. And I can do it virtually. I'm in Auburn, so I can do it, whoever wins. I can do it virtually or in person. Whatever, whoever wins, whatever they prefer. So
awesome. Well, if we don't have any other questions, or let me know if you do. MT, I saw you unmuted yourself. Did you have a question?
No, I just wanted to thank you. This was very interesting. Some very good info.
Oh, good. I'm glad you think so. It's a large group. I don't know how many actually came on. Do you know, Katie?
We had about 25 at the peak. We had about 33 RSVP, so it was pretty good. A lot of people do watch the recorded link too. So. Yeah. This was recorded.
So, as I said, this is the broad topic. I mean, a lot to get through in a very short period of time. And without knowing everyone's face shape, it has to kind of go the way I did. And it's about yours being able to self-assess, which is why we took the few minutes we did to try and do that. But hopefully it gives you, my goal in this is that hopefully if you found your shape, then you got some definite tips you can take back. And if you're still unclear, at least you know that there is a difference by watching what I did with necklines and hairstyles and stuff, that it makes a difference. And so we all, put out a presence, whether we consciously choose that or not. What you're putting on your face with glasses and hairstyles and even makeup, and your clothes, and they're all saying something. So it is what you're doing saying what you want. About who you are on the inside and what you want people to know about you. And is it flattering to you as well? So, and we all have to buy clothes and glasses for the sun or to read, or, we all get our hair cut now. Thank God. It was a scary time when we couldn't do anything.
Say it's allowed again for now. Who knows, right?
I know. So my point is just to educate that you're going out and you're making these choices, and so just to do it in a more informed way that's flattering for your features.
Perfect. And this was recorded too, so you'll be receiving an email with a link with the survey, so feel free to look back at that first slide to really help determine your face shape again and stuff like that. But perfect. Well, thank you, Candace, so much for joining us today. I want to say thank you to Maine State Credit Union for being our sponsor for our Women's Series. And then we will be emailing out the survey link and the recorded link, so everybody check that out and make sure you do the survey. You have till tomorrow at 5 p.m., so you have a full day to do the survey, and we look forward to seeing you next month for Michelle Pelletier to speak, and I hope you guys all have a great day.
Okay.
See you guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.